Thanks, Baldwin. Let's take a look at the application and focus on eConsent, IoT device management, and research data sharing. You can see here there are different roles that we have in the system: sponsor, site, patient, and researcher. Each participant has their own wallet and decentralized identifier, or DID. We use the DID to share information between different roles. Let's take a look at the sponsor role, where we already have a trial created called MT7. The sponsor is responsible for the eConsent files and the visit schedule files. In this example, we have a main consent and an optional eConsent for IoT. Here's the imported visit schedule from the protocol that is also visible in the interface. Returning to the trial level, let's drill into the enrolled site. You can see we already have a site assigned in the study called C7. To accomplish this, the site representative shared the site DID with the sponsor to make the connection within the application. You can see here the basic information for the site and the DID. Let's jump into the site interface now. Here's the site DID I was talking about. At the site level, you can provide a translated eConsent file based on language requirements. You can also see a preview of the consent, check the consent history, or view the visit schedule. Here's a preview of the consent form for the site view. Here you can see the version history of the optional IoT. 2 versions were utilized for this study. Let's navigate back to the consents page and then back to the trial management page. Under the subjects link, we can see our first patient is enrolling. From the consents link, you can see the mandatory eConsent has been signed by the patient and the site or healthcare professional, HCP. Let's take a look at the e-signatures at the bottom of the document. Here, the patient signature, and here, the HCP signature. You can also see the optional eConsent is unsigned. To show you how we collect the eConsent signature, let's jump into the patient role and sign the optional eConsent. Keep in mind, we use the patient DID to link to the participating site. From the mobile app view, you can see the clinical trials icon and data sharing icon. Here is the patient DID that is provided to the site. Under notifications icon, you can see a number of new notifications. One is for the new eConsent. Let's return to the dashboard and then select consent. Here is the signed main consent already completed that we saw from the site perspective. Let's sign the optional eConsent from the patient perspective. Here, the patient can view and sign or decline the consent form. The document is visible, and when ready, the patient can elect to sign or decline. Let's click Sign and Confirm. And now you can see from here, both consents have been signed. I need to refresh the screen to see the sign and decline link from the site perspective. You can see the signature date is already present for the patient, but missing for the site. Clicking Sign, and it opens up the eConsent. The button is grayed out until I scroll to the bottom, where I can see the patient eConsent already applied. I will also click Sign for the site. Now we have completed the optional eConsent process. While we're still in the site interface, let's manage our IoT devices. We have been testing Fitbits, thermometers, pulse oximeters, and blood pressure devices. Here's a list of available assigned devices. Let's return to the study and see what devices have been assigned to our enrolled patient. I can see that the patient has a Fitbit already assigned. If I wanted to assign a second device, I just need to select it from the list and click Save. I won't assign a second Fitbit, so let's just switch back to the patient app. Let's look at the data received so far from the IoT Fitbit device under View Health Data. I can see the mock data received from the IoT device for calories burned and values by day. Let's return to the patient app to view the IoT device data. From the dashboard, click on Medical Data and filter to Calories Burned and Show Data. This way, the patient can also review the collected data if desired. In our last step, the patient decides to share their data with researchers using the permissions icon. You enable or disable the data sharing from a patient point of view. Let's also allow researchers to contact the patient to utilize the clinical trial IoT data collected. From the researcher perspective, we create a new project called Calories Burned. Here are some additional details about the project, like inclusion criteria. Since the project is active, willing patients that meet the project criteria will be contacted. Back to the patient app, we can see under the notification, we have a pending request to join the Calories Burned study. Under Health Study, we see the pending invitation. Let's confirm to share the data with the researcher by clicking Confirm. Our screen updates now to show that we're participating in this study. Returning to the researcher, we complete the study and set it to closed. And with a brief justification, we set it to finalized. The results and the data links activate, and now we can view the patient data that was shared to the researcher. Note that the anonymized DID was used and not the public DID for the patient. The researcher can also send feedback to the participants and also share the final results with them. So you have seen the eConsent, IoT, and data sharing combined into one clinical trial using blockchain technology. I'd like to hand over to Xenia to discuss personalized medicine in more detail.